Ever found yourself struggling to stand up after sitting for a while? One moment you're relaxed, the next your legs feel stiff, weak, or even shaky. It's frustrating, isn't it? But what if I told you this could be more than just getting older? In fact, it might be a warning sign of something serious, like muscle loss, poor circulation, or even balance issues. Meet George. At 68, he cherished his quiet mornings, sipping coffee, reading the paper, and enjoying the stillness of the day. But there was one problem. The moment he tried to stand up, his legs felt stiff, almost frozen in place. It wasn't just once or twice, it was happening every day. He'd push off the armrests, rock his body forward, even take a deep breath before finally managing to stand. And some days, it took more than one try. Sound familiar? At first, George brushed it off as just part of getting older. But deep down, he wondered, is this normal? Why is this happening? And most importantly, can I fix it? If you've ever struggled to stand after sitting, you're not alone. But here's the good news. There are simple, effective ways to strengthen your legs, improve circulation, and make standing up feel effortless again. Stick with me because in just a moment I'll show you exactly why this happens and the 5 easiest fixes that can make a huge difference. Before we dive in, if you find this helpful, go ahead and tap the like button. It really helps more people see this video. And if you want more simple tips to stay strong and active after 60, hit subscribe so you never miss out. Because number 1, weak muscles and loss of strength. George thought his struggles to stand were just part of aging, but what he didn't realize was that his muscles had weakened over time. This is something that happens to all of us. After 60, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. And if we're not actively working those leg muscles, they weaken even faster. Think about it. When you were younger, standing up was effortless. But now, it might feel like lifting weights. Why? Because the muscles in your thighs, hips and core aren't as strong as they used to be. And if you're not using them regularly, they continue to shrink. You might notice it in small ways. Needing to use your arms to push off a chair, feeling wobbly when you first stand, or avoiding low seats altogether. But here's the key. Weakness isn't permanent. With the right approach, you can rebuild strength and make standing up feel easy again. And in just a moment, I'll show you 5 simple ways to do that. Cause number 2, poor circulation and stiff joints. Have you ever stood up after sitting for a while, only to feel like your legs are half asleep? That tingling, heavy or stiff sensation is often caused by poor circulation. When you sit for long periods, especially with your legs bent at an angle, blood flow slows down. This makes your muscles and joints stiff, and when you finally stand, your body struggles to respond. For George, this happened every morning. He'd finish his coffee, go to stand up, and his legs just wouldn't cooperate. It took a few seconds to regain feeling, and sometimes he even had to shake his legs out before taking a step. Stiff joints also play a role. Over time, the cartilage in our knees and hips wears down, making movement feel restricted. If you're not staying active or stretching regularly, your joints become even stiffer, making it harder to move after sitting. The good news? Improving circulation and keeping your joints flexible isn't complicated. A few small changes, like simple movements before standing and a tweak in posture, can make a huge difference. Because number 3, balance and coordination issues. Now, here's something most people don't think about. Your ability to stand up isn't just about muscle strength. It's also about balance and coordination. And as we get older, our balance naturally declines, making it harder to go from sitting to standing without feeling unsteady. Your brain and muscles work together to keep you stable, but if something interrupts that connection, like inner ear issues, low blood pressure or nerve problems, you might feel lightheaded or wobbly when standing. George noticed this too. Some days he felt perfectly fine. Other days he'd stand up too fast and suddenly feel like he was swaying. Certain medications can also impact balance, and so can dehydration. If your body isn't properly hydrated, your blood pressure can drop when you stand, making you feel dizzy or weak for a few seconds. If you've been struggling with standing up, it's not just about getting older. Weak muscles, poor circulation and balance issues all play a role. But here's the best part. You can fix it. Coming up, I'll share 5 simple but powerful fixes that will make standing up feel easy again. And trust me, the last one is a game changer, so don't miss it. Fix number 1, the march-in-place warm-up. George used to dread standing up after sitting for too long. But once he started using this simple trick, everything changed. It's called the march-in-place warm-up, and it takes just 10 seconds. Here's how it works. Before you stand, simply lift each foot slightly and march in place while still seated. Move your legs up and down, just like you're walking. You don't need to lift them high, just enough to get things moving. Why does this work? Because it wakes up your muscles and gets blood flowing before you even try to stand. Remember how we talked about poor circulation? Sitting for long periods can slow blood flow, making your legs feel stiff and sluggish. But by moving them first, you're giving your muscles a heads up that it's time to work. For George, this made a huge difference. Instead of feeling like his legs were glued to the floor, he found that standing up felt smoother and easier. And the best part, it only takes a few seconds. Try this the next time you're about to stand up. March your feet in place for about 10 seconds, then push up from the chair. You'll notice an instant improvement. Fix number 2. Strengthen your thighs with chair exercises. George had a wake-up call one morning. He sat in his chair, reached for his coffee, and when he tried to stand, his legs barely responded. It took effort, more than he wanted to admit. That's when he realized something. His leg muscles weren't as strong as they used to be. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Over time, our thigh muscles, the quadriceps, lose strength, making it harder to push ourselves up from a chair. But here's the good news. You can rebuild that strength with one simple exercise, the sit-to-stand repetition. It's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of just standing up once, you turn it into a mini workout. Here's how. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Lean slightly forward, engage your core, and push through your legs to stand up. Slowly sit back down in a controlled motion. Repeat this movement 5 to 10 times. At first it might feel challenging, but that's the point. This exercise targets the exact muscles you use to stand, helping you regain the strength and confidence to move with ease. George started with just 5 repetitions a day. Within a few weeks, something incredible happened. Standing up didn't feel like a struggle anymore. He could get up without using his hands, and that stiffness in his legs, it was practically gone. If you want to make it easier, start with a taller chair or place a cushion under you. And if you're feeling strong, try doing the movement without using your hands for support. Fix number 3. Hydration and circulation boost. George always thought he was drinking enough water. After all, he had his morning coffee and maybe a glass of juice later in the day. But what he didn't realize was that dehydration was one of the sneaky reasons why standing up felt harder than it used to. Here's something surprising. Even mild dehydration can thicken your blood, slowing circulation and making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your muscles. And when your muscles don't get what they need, they become sluggish, stiff and unresponsive. Exactly what makes standing up after sitting feel like a struggle. Think about it. Have you ever felt lightheaded or wobbly when you stood up too quickly? That's often a sign of dehydration affecting circulation and blood pressure. How to fix it? Start your morning with water. Before reaching for coffee or tea, drink a full glass of water. Your body dehydrates overnight, and replenishing first thing in the morning gives your circulation a jump start. Sip consistently, not just when you're thirsty. By the time you feel thirsty, your body is already dehydrated. Aim for small sips throughout the day rather than chugging a large amount all at once. Balance your fluids. Coffee and alcohol can contribute to dehydration, so if you're drinking them, balance them out with extra water. Herbal teas or water-rich foods like cucumbers and oranges also help. Keep a water bottle nearby. Whether you're reading, watching TV, or doing chores, having water within reach makes it easier to stay hydrated without thinking about it. George decided to make one small change. He placed a glass of water next to his favourite chair and sipped while reading. Within days, he noticed a difference. His legs didn't feel as heavy when standing, and he had fewer dizzy spells when getting up. Hydration is one of the simplest yet most overlooked solutions to poor circulation and muscle sluggishness. But when you combine it with the next fix, you'll supercharge your body's ability to stand up easily and without discomfort. Stay with me, because this next tip is a real game changer. Fix number 4, adjust your sitting posture. George used to sink into his favourite recliner, shoulders slouched, legs stretched out. It was comfortable until he had to stand up. That's when he felt the struggle. He'd push off the armrests, rock back and forth, and sometimes even had to try twice before he could get up. Sound familiar? Here's the surprising truth. How you sit determines how easily you stand. Poor posture, like slouching, crossing your legs, or leaning back too far, puts your body in a weak position, making standing up a battle instead of a smooth movement. But a small adjustment in the way you sit can make all the difference. Why sitting posture matters. When you sit with poor posture, your muscles disengage, your circulation slows, and your body gets too comfortable in a position that doesn't support standing. Over time, this weakens the muscles you need to stand up easily. How to fix it? Sit with your feet flat on the floor. This keeps your legs engaged and ready to support you when you stand. Avoid crossing your legs or tucking your feet under the chair. Scoot forward slightly. Instead of leaning back, sit more toward the edge of your seat. This shifts your weight forward, making it easier to push up when it's time to stand. Keep your back straight but relaxed. Good posture doesn't mean stiff. Keep your shoulders back, your chest slightly lifted, and your core engaged. Use your legs, not just your arms. When standing up, focus on pushing through your heels and engaging your thigh muscles instead of relying solely on your arms to lift you. Pick the right chair. Soft, deep couches can make standing up harder. If you struggle, use a firmer chair with armrests for added support. George decided to change just one thing. He stopped slouching and started sitting with his feet flat and his weight slightly forward. The result? Standing up felt easier almost instantly. No more struggling, no more multiple attempts. Try this next time you sit down. Adjust your posture and see how much smoother standing up becomes. Fix number 5, use the rock and push method. George had tried everything, stretching his legs, hydrating more, even adjusting how he sat. But sometimes standing up still felt like a struggle. That is, until he learned one simple technique that changed everything. The rock and push method. If you've ever felt stuck in your chair, struggling to stand up, or needing an extra push with your arms, this trick can make all the difference. It's a natural movement that helps shift your weight properly, giving your legs the power they need to lift you effortlessly. Why the rock and pusher method works. Most people try to stand straight up from a seated position, but that actually works against your body. If your weight is too far back or your feet aren't properly planted, your legs aren't in the right position to support you. That's why you feel weak or wobbly. By using the rock and push method, you naturally activate your leg muscles, shift your weight forward, and create the momentum needed to stand up easily, without strain or extra effort. How to do it correctly. Plant your feet flat on the floor, shoulder-width apart. This gives you a stable base for support. Lean forward slightly, bringing your chest over your knees. This shifts your center of gravity forward, making standing up much easier. Rock forward gently once or twice. This small motion preps your muscles, engages your thighs, and builds momentum. Scene 2. Push through heels. Push through your heels and stand up smoothly. Avoid using just your arms. Your legs should do most of the work. Breathe out as you stand. This helps engage your core and prevents unnecessary strain. At first, George wasn't sure if this method would make a difference. But after trying it a few times, he noticed something incredible. He was no longer struggling. Instead of fighting against his own body, he was moving with it. The best part, this technique can work for anyone, even if you've been struggling to stand for years. Give it a try. The next time you stand up, don't just push yourself up forcefully. Try the rock and push method and feel the difference. It's a small adjustment, but one that makes standing up smoother, easier, and more natural. At 68, George thought struggling to stand up was just a part of aging, something he had to live with. But after trying these simple fixes, everything changed. Now getting up is effortless. His legs feel stronger, his balance is better, and most importantly, his confidence is back. And here's the truth. You don't have to struggle every time you stand. Small changes lead to big results. A little movement, a few adjustments, and the right habits can transform how you feel every day. So, which of these tips are you going to try first? Let us know in the comments. If this helped, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear